All right. Hello, everybody. This is Sanaa Zigta with Round the Way Media, and we're here with the owner of El Fuego, Manny Alfaro.
Hello there.
So I guess to begin, let's talk about your journey to this location, this official brick and mortar off of North Pershing Drive, and what led us to this point.
Well, we have been one of DC's most popular food trucks for the past 8 years, and looking into possibilities of growing the company and making our journeys into DC on a daily basis and all of that. That's how the brick and mortar over here on North Pershing Drive came to be.
Okay. And so what's so unique about this particular location, strategically, if you're a local business? Why would you want to be in this part of Arlington?
Well, for us, it's a win-win any way we look at it all the way across the board. First of all, our food truck, Fuego DC, operates 99% of the time in DC, and this location puts us barely 2 minutes from getting into DC. So the access going into DC is much easier, much faster whenever we go in on a daily basis, go into DC. Another big benefit is that we're in this area of Arlington. We're benefited that it is a very popular area. It is growing by leaps and bounds, and what is it called? The type of different people, the mix.
The diversity.
The diversity is greatly diverse, from white Anglo-Saxons to black to Asian. There is all facets on there, and enables us to go ahead and bring some of our Peruvian fare for everybody from all walks of life to come and taste it.
Excellent. And I did notice one day when I came to this location, there were people coming from the base over there. What kind of clientele are we getting, and are people starting to recognize this on the base?
Well, we've always been a military family, first of all. From me being in the Air Force to both my daughter and youngest son being in the Marines and all that. Henderson Hall / Fort Myers Joint Base is a combined Army. They have them all. Army, Navy, Marines are all in there. And we're basically getting a lot of people are coming by to give us a try, especially because Peruvian cuisine has now become so popular that a lot of people of all age groups, but mostly millennials, that are the ones tempted to try something new on a regular basis. That's how the influx that we're getting from the military base. A few big orders here and there also going into the base, knowing that as far as a private business, you cannot access a military installation without permission. So being able to go in there is very hard.
Yeah, understood. Okay, well, let's talk about the food truck first before we get into this location.
Sure.
When did you officially first get your permit to run the food truck, and how long did it take to actually grow a following?
Well, we started the food truck back in 2011. We actually got our first permit for Fairfax County in October of 2011. Started operating in DC in 2012. And main reason for the delay there, because the process to get into DC, it takes about 3 months.
It's a lottery, right?
No, to register a new food truck in DC, it takes about 3 months, because you have to have your business plan, you have to have many other things submitted, and they have to be approved by all of the different entities, from the health department to DCRA to all of those. They all have to go through all of the forms that need to be filled out, all the inspections that need to happen, and that's. So if you were to summarize it all, we started operating in DC in 2012.
Excellent. Okay. So when, at least in this area, when people think Peruvian food, I guess we commonly see rotisserie chicken. You guys don't do that.
We do, but it's not our mainstay.
That ain't your mainstay, okay?
Right. Well, I've been selected. I was selected by the Peruvian government back in 2012 as Peruvian Gastronomy Ambassador for this region.
Wow.
I was actually the first ambassador who was selected by the Peruvian government to represent and promote Peruvian culture through the gastronomy in the whole region. And that is something that, to give you an idea, back when we first started the food truck, there was only 2 Peruvian restaurants in the area. One of them was in D.C. And the other one was in Fairfax. And all of these chicken places that you see all over the place were not there yet. They were starting to come up. Peruvian gastronomy is very, very diverse. Peruvian rotisserie chicken or Peruvian charcoal chicken, whichever way you want to call it, is one of the how would you call it, the simple, fast, casual dinners that everybody enjoys in Peru. Peruvian chicken, just to give you an idea, in Peru there are different types of restaurants. There's restaurants that dedicate themselves just to selling chicken,
Yep.
and restaurants that actually, like our brick and mortar, that we dedicate to every other aspect of their gastronomy. Even though now we have incorporated Peruvian chicken a couple of days a week as a special, but mainly chicken is the go-to for that parent, husband or wife that are running behind from work,
Yep.
and struggling to get home to feed their family and everything else. So in here, we are all blessed that all we need to do is pick up the phone, call for pizza, call for a delivery,
Yeah.
call that.
Yeah.
In Peru, very simple. They just stop by their favorite chicken place, pick up chicken to take home. So basically, chicken is the fast go-to in Peru.
Okay, and so for people that aren't familiar with Peruvian cuisine, what are some typical dishes that you may see, and as well as dishes that you fix yourself?
Well, Peru is the diversity in all the types of fruits and everything that they grow in Peru is tremendous. We could spend the rest of our time trying to come up with every single dish that's in the Peruvian gastronomy, and we still wouldn't see the end.
I saw that book that you showed me. It was extensive.
Right.
Yeah.
What you have to start off in Peru, you have, first of all, over 3,000 varieties of potatoes, because potato originated in the Andes. That's where it got moved worldwide. There's over 2,000 varieties of quinoa, over 200 varieties of different peppers. So it's immense, the diversity. But if you were to summarize what is Peru and the Peruvian gastronomy, the Peruvian gastronomy has always been a fusion, and it says on the back of the food truck, Peruvian fusion cuisine, because Peruvian gastronomy has always been about the fusion. Back in the early 1800s, they had a big influx of Chinese. When the Chinese came to Peru, they brought with them some of their flavors, their style of cooking, and some of their varieties. From that influx of immigrants, Chinese immigrants, comes the Peruvian Chinese food, which is called chifa, which is kind of different. I've been told that chifa means in Chinese to eat rice. I've been told. But that is one of the influx and one of the fusions that is attributed to one of Peru's flagship dishes, which is the lomo saltado, which traditionally is a stir-fried dish that's done on a wok. So that originates, that is a fusion, comes from the Chinese influx in that regard. Then late 1800s, early 1900s, same thing happened with the Japanese. We had a big influx of Japanese to Peru, and that's what a lot of chefs and all of that, they're always in the debate about Peru's #1 flagship dish, which is ceviche. Ceviche is a raw, uncooked seafood dish. And a lot of people attribute the ceviche to the influx from the Japanese. A lot of people attribute it to the ancestry, because they have found that in the coastal regions of Peru has three major regions: the coastal, the mountains, and the valleys, right? And the jungle, I should say. And they have found through some of the diggings in the archaeological sites that some of the indigenous people that live in the coast, they used to consume and they used to trade raw fish with other people further inland and up in the mountains. So there's that big debate about what is really Peru's flagship dish is ceviche. Any good Peruvian restaurant, you will see ceviche, if not one variety, many different varieties on their menu. It's a mainstay. It has to happen in a Peruvian restaurant.
It's very interesting. Well, because Fujimori was the president of Peru at one point, right? And he was of Japanese ancestry.
He's from Japanese descent. I have several friends that are also from Japanese descent, and you see it all over Peru. There is a great big fusion, not just Chinese, Japanese, also Italians. The Italians late in the 1930s, they started a big influx into Peru also. That's where they brought pasta and all of these dishes. So now you see in Peru there is that fusion of Italian and Peruvian Creole into dishes like tallarines verdes, which is Peruvian pesto, noodles, served with a great beefsteak, which is one of the dishes that we have in our restaurant on our menu. And again, they all have their different varieties. The Peruvian pesto, very different than Italian pesto. Peruvian pesto is two parts fresh spinach, 1 part basil, and other ingredients. Italian pesto, we all know, is mostly basil, pine nuts, olive oil, seasonings, and all that. So it is very different taste and very different texture altogether for the dishes.
That's very interesting. Well, so with the food truck, I guess we could start with, what do you see people buying the most? What's one of your most commonly sold dishes, or most popular?
Well,
if not a few.
In the food truck, especially in the food truck, we started serving, and our number one seller in the food truck is the lomo saltado, the stir fries, and we do them all. The beef tenderloin, we do the chicken, we do the shrimp, tofu for vegetarians and vegans, and that's always been our flagship dish on the truck. We also used to serve ceviche on the truck. We kind of stopped it for logistical reasons, but the reason for that was, the portion on the ceviche that we used to serve in the truck was intentionally reduced in size because we were promoting, and we still to this day promoting Peruvian culture by having everybody taste Peru's flagship dishes. So I reduced the portion size on the ceviche to enable anybody that wanted to come by the truck and try Peruvian food for the first time to be able to try a ceviche and a lomo saltado together. That way they would have both of Peru's flagship dishes for them to try.
Best of both worlds. Well, so with this location, what is the benefit, I guess, to you from starting as a food truck to actually having a brick and mortar location? What is some of the benefits to that?
Well, I honestly have to say we have been blessed that we have a great following for the food truck. For our food has always been made with heart, and everybody has noticed that in the taste. So we have a great big following from the food truck, and that has been trickling over to the brick and mortar. So a lot of people are very happy. In the past, 4 years ago, we were trying to find a place to open up our brick and mortar, but the locations are very rare and hard to find in between. And a lot of people were very excited that we were looking for a place to open up a brick and mortar. And now that we have all we get is more than great comments. As far as great, then now I have a place that I can actually go to. Say, for instance, if it's a foul weather day and the truck is not able to operate, they can come over here and enjoy the meal that they always have enjoyed in the truck.
Excellent. And so y'all have a number of different options as far as business. You have the food truck, you have the this restaurant location. You provide catering services as well? We
provide catering without the food truck. We have in the past done several weddings, both in D.C. and in Virginia. We did a wedding all the way out in Sperryville, Virginia, one of the famous bed and breakfasts. So we have traveled many places. We have gone to the Museum of Fine Arts in Richmond, Virginia, to do a celebration for Peruvian gastronomy. So we get around, I guess you could say.
Excellent. So I saw inside you all got recognized by the Washington Post, and you said the Peruvian Department of Tourism. So and soon you'll have a Japanese media network come out to film y'all. What do you think makes you guys so unique with all these different Peruvian restaurants popping up in the short amount of time?
Well, what makes us special and what makes us unique? And you mentioned something about the Peruvian Department of Tourism. It is called MINCETUR, the Ministry of Tourism and Exterior Commerce.
Okay.
And we have been, like I said, that was the part of the Peruvian government that selected me as a gastronomy ambassador for the region. I was also selected by the Peruvian government, the same department, the Ministry of Tourism and Exterior Commerce, to participate in a worldwide promotion to promote Peruvian identity within Peruvians, which was they sent a camera crew to film a video that's on YouTube now, that's Más Peruano que el ají de gallina. That was part of a promotion that the Peruvian government did to promote Peruvian self-identity in Peru. They selected 3 non-Peruvians that did things worldwide to promote Peru as a country and as a culture and everything else. I was selected for the gastronomy. There is a French gentleman that lives in New York. He was selected for the music. He plays chicha music, which is Peruvian criollo music. And they selected a Panamanian lady that dedicates her life to raising Peruvian Pasofino horses. We were selected for that promotion that's called Más Peruano que. So that was one of the pieces that the Peruvian government, we did in collaboration with the Peruvian government. I was also the only chef in the United States to be invited to participate and speak to the crowds at 2015 Mistura Gastronomic Festival, which is the largest gastronomic festival in Latin America. And I was the only chef selected out of the United States by the Peruvian government to go and participate. And what they did, since it wasn't logistically possible to move the truck, put it on a boat and send it to Peru and then bring it back, the Peruvian government set up a copy of El Fuego food truck at Mistura 2015, and that served as my platform to speak to. It was oceans of people that I was talking to about lomo saltado and all the things and how we promote gastronomy. But what makes us different and unique, we'll always remain small. We'll always cook with passion, and our authentic flavor comes from what I have learned as being a trained chef, training in Spain, training myself through in Peruvian gastronomy, through some of my connections in Peruvian gastronomy, Gaston Acurio, many other famous chefs. My nephew, Omar Rodriguez, which is also a trained Peruvian chef. My wife has a big part in me learning Peruvian gastronomy. And basically what makes us different and makes us, to my opinion, better than some, is that we really strive to what we bring for our customers and our visitors to enjoy is as authentic as you can find in the U.S.
And those are quite some accomplishments. I mean, being the only chef in the entire U.S. to be recognized by the Peruvian government and to be flown out. You were flown out to Peru to speak in front of the population. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment, and I think just walking by this place, you'd have absolutely no idea until you try the food.
Yeah, well, you know, the very funny thing, here's a little funny thing that they told me, and all of our family in Trujillo were telling me, you know, we're tired of seeing your picture, because it seemed like my picture was on those big, huge posters that they put to advertise all over.
Billboards, yeah.
I said my picture was on every billboard all throughout Peru. And the most hilarious thing, when I first got to Lima to participate in Mistura, the first thing that they did is they took me to the main offices of the Ministry of Exterior Commerce and Tourism, and they brought me upstairs to the penthouse to meet the minister. And what really set it down in my heart was that they chose my voice for the automated answering service to that whole ministry.
Whoa.
So whenever you called over there, and they answer, "Thank you for calling from Peru. Can you please hold?" It was my voice that they used.
Excellent.
So that really brought it home. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that's a welcoming voice. That is hilarious. Excellent. So, well, I guess before we conclude the interview, what would you like people to know about the family? Maybe starting a business, going from a food truck and getting to a point where you can actually get a physical restaurant location, maybe some of the difficulties you may have had in the process. What's some advice you'd give to a young entrepreneur?
Well, if I was to give an advice to somebody looking into getting into the food truck business, I would tell them, honestly, it's not as easy as it looks. And it happens constantly, year after year after year after year. You have somebody that has no experience in gastronomy, in cooking, or anything like that, and they see, for instance, the lines at X food truck, and they see, all they're doing, that's very easy.
Just
I can do that. There's nothing, nothing about that.
Yeah.
It is very, very. It requires tons of dedication. It comes of passion, and it's not an easy job. Running a food truck business is just as tough or tougher than running a restaurant. Okay? Now, for somebody that has experience in all of that, I would say a mix of food truck and restaurant, it's great. What the biggest benefits a food truck has is that they are able to take their offer directly to the customer.
Exactly.
So you are being an active business instead of being a passive business like a brick and mortar is. Brick and mortar, you're sitting waiting for that customer to come through your door.
Exactly.
Okay, so that is the big benefits of having a combination of both of them. What I would say, what makes us successful and what would make any young entrepreneur or anybody wanting to get into the food business and all of that, if it's in you, if it's in your heart, if cooking is in your heart, the seasoning will follow, because one of there's famous cooks both in Peru and worldwide, and they all say that when you cook from your heart, it shows and people appreciate it.
Excellent. Okay, and one thing to mention, because I think is too cool, and I don't drink soda personally, and the reason why I don't is because of all the chemicals and the artificial ingredients they put in it. But here I am drinking a soda. What makes this soda unique?
Well, we picked a provider of soda which is there is nothing artificial in your cup. It's all made from sugar cane, extracts, oils, mixed in small batches. Nothing artificial. It's all natural and essential oils and flavors that come from Mother Nature.
Excellent. I can taste it. It tastes a lot better than your conventional Coke and whatnot. So I guess we'll take a little tour around the food truck eventually. But lastly, if you have a wedding, you have a conference, you have a big meeting at work or anything of that nature, you can definitely contact El Fuego, and they can come provide an excellent catering service of whatever food you'd like. And yeah, this is a phenomenal business, and I'm excited to see this location grow. How long has this been up for?
We just celebrated 6 months, the 1st of April.
Excellent.
Since we were open.
Excellent. Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you very much for sitting down and speaking with us.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
Excellent. All right. Well, y'all have a wonderful day. This is Manny Alfaro with El Fuego off North Pershing Drive. Come check us out.